Welcome back to the Pickup Test. In our last episode, we covered 1, how to prepare strategically for your message, and 2, what you need to do to analyze and synthesize data to make your message more effective for the reader. Now let's pick up where we left off. With each step in this process, you're increasing your chances for success. You've prepared strategically. You've chosen relevant, logical information that's going to help your decision maker make a decision or persuade someone to accept your idea. And now you're going to structure that information for optimal flow and comprehension. You're going to use established patterns and framework, choose an approach that works for the situation, and make sure that there's coherence and connection across the board. To plan your message to achieve your goals and objectives and meet your audience needs requires you to go back to that strategic planning that you've already conducted. Think about how is my audience going to receive this message and what is my purpose. If your audience is going to respond favorably to your message or neutrally, and your purpose is to inform, a direct approach is going to work. In a direct approach, you begin by putting the bottom line on top, stating your overall purpose or conclusion up front, and framing for audience alignment. Remember, if you don't make the connection, you can't engage, the relationship doesn't move forward. They don't read on. So you got to tell them what it's about and why they need to read it in that very first paragraph. Show them why this is a relevant document and they want to read it. I'll say it one more time. Tell them why it's important and make them want to read it. Hopefully by now you've got it. And you can move on to the body of your message, which in a direct message contains essential details and evidence that they need to accomplish whatever that purpose was. Finally, at the end, you want to restate the frame. Pull them back to why this was important and give them a call to action, some next steps to take. Now, if in your strategic planning you determine that your audience is going to be impacted negatively by your message, or perhaps they're resistant to listening to your message because they don't agree with you, you might want to choose an indirect approach. Here you begin with a contextual introduction, it's often called a buffer, where you align and present the overall topic of the message. Then you provide the reasons, the essential details, the evidence, the benefits to that individual. Finally, you come to your conclusion, your bottom line, your key point, and then reiterate the frame and give them a call to action. Now, this is just the basic indirect framework and direct framework. Depending on the type of message you're sending, there are more nuanced patterns and structures that you will apply. For example, if you're sending an indirect persuasive message, you may use the AIDA approach that's often used in sales. We'll cover these when we get to persuasive messages. However, knowing the basic direct approach and indirect approach will help you organize and plan your message in a way that makes sense to your reader. So now your reader's following what you've written. 1, because you prepared strategically, anticipated their expectations and any situational variables that would impact the message. 2, because you chose the information they needed to have. 3, because you organized the message in a way that was easy to follow. Now, you need to increase your chances for success even more by executing with grace. You need to deliver your information with focus and fluidity. This means that you need to understand the relationships and connections between the ideas that you've presented to ensure the flow and appropriate placement on the page. Use CRAP to focus visual attention. So CRAP is contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity. Contrast, as big and bold, is more important. We look at the things that stand out on the page. Repetition, similar items require similar treatment. So if you have a first-level heading, it should use the same formatting as all first-level headings. Alignment is placement on the page. So we read in English top to bottom, left to right. So if you want your reader to notice something, put it at the top of your paragraph. Use a paragraph break to draw their attention to it. And finally, put like things next to each other. This is proximity, whether it's a visual or it's an idea. Proximity and closeness demonstrate connection, just like with people. Finally, close the gap and connect through concise, precise language that makes it easy to read your document. Make your ideas accessible. This is really important. To do this, you're going to move through a couple of steps. The first thing that you want to do is think about format and channel. Channel refers to the medium by which the message is transmitted. Format is the type of message or document that you're sending. You need to determine which is going to be the most effective way to send the message. In other words, do you want to send an email, or do you have too much information to convey in an email? If you do, you might want to put together an informal report, which you attach to an email. Or is it a short message that you can text to the recipient? Now, and only now, are you ready to draft your message. During the drafting process, you should write quickly. Don't spend time revising as you write. This interferes with your thought process. Use your outline to help you with information flow. Don't worry about errors until you get to the next phase in the process, which is revision, when you'll focus on the readability and accessibility of your information. Readability has to do with how easily the audience can read your information. To make it easy to understand what you've written, eliminate extra words in each sentence. Read each sentence for clarity. Use concise, precise language. Then, improve your readability through CRAP. Ask yourself, can you see the difference between your content, headings, visuals, etc.? Ask yourself, do you have consistent theme or brand throughout your deliverable? Do you reuse the same colors, shapes, block quote formatting for all elements? Is your typeface clear? The size of it the same? The direction of information relatively similar in each section? Ask yourself, did you use space to show relationship between items, ideas, design elements? Position things in places to draw attention to them. We know from readability studies that people spend about 2 minutes per document. They read the first line and the last line in a paragraph. Good luck if they read anything else. Chunk your paragraphs in order to provide white space on the page. It's like taking a breath when you read. Don't have paragraphs that take up the entire page. Finally, ask yourself, can you find everything you need on the page easily? And what is it your audience needs and wants to see? And how can you highlight that? Think about all of these things after you've revised your language to make it clear, concise, and precise. And then go back and revise your language one more time. If you truly take the time to follow this process, you'll make your connections worthwhile. You'll understand what you're getting into by analyzing the audience and the purpose, coming up with a frame that then helps you choose relevant information that adds value and insight to your reader. You'll plan your message and organize it in a way that makes it easy for the reader to understand what you're saying. Then you'll draft your message and revise for clarity and precision and design for readability. The more simple it is to understand you, the easier it is for your reader to accept your ideas, the more likely you are to generate the outcome you want from your message. So take the time to make meaningful connections and align with the interests of your reader. Write documents that people want to pick up and read.